What's up, dog? Alright, so this video is going to be about Rehab Room and coping, and it's going to kind of be more toward the, I don't know if I want to make videos about, like, freaking, like, incel shit, because, like, I don't fully relate to it, but I also, like, it sounds bad coming from me, because I know, like, I'm not a bad-looking guy, so, like, me giving my perspective is kind of like unjustified because I don't know how it feels to be like a 5'1" man in like 2026 when this dating market is super competitive, and I agree how competitive it is. I'm gonna give you my opinions anyway from what I've observed, but obviously I'm gonna have a bias. Everybody has a bias, right? And Rehab Room made a recent video about like coping and like just overall just like coping mechanisms that you could use if like your life is going shit and like you're struggling within the dating market. And I swear, like, these topics always sound like the reason why these topics are so interesting, because the truth is it affects pretty much everybody except like the top 0.1% or like the 1%, right? And like, you know, maybe out of the rest of the 99%, like, I'm giving out like random numbers right now, but like most people are just like stupid enough to not really understand it, or they do understand like the minor aspects of it, but don't actually like dig deep because their brains are more simplified. They're like, oh, in order to get girls, you just need to improve yourself as a man, which is obviously true, but there's a lot more depth to it. And to achieve actual like true love, right? But to actually achieve that, it's very, very complex, and you need to find like different kinds of ways of compensating for your flaws and different kind of ways to cope around your flaws, and kind of like mindset shifts to make sure you don't stay in a deep hole. And the truth is, a majority of men, like statistically, aren't getting intercourse with women, or if not even intercourse, they're not bonding with women. And it's just interesting to think about, and it's probably happening to like some of your friends, or even like they're like maybe you're in high school or college, but it's like it happens to like older guys. It's all happening to older guys too, and this is gonna stunt you mentally, and if you don't get out of this hole, your life is gonna get like destroyed. The reason why I take so much interest in this topic is because, like, again, I've said this in my previous videos, like I've kind of been on both sides. Like I remember, I'm a big overthinker, so like in high school I probably like put myself there on purpose and like assumed I was like a 1 out of 10. Also, like, puberty hit and shit, I had like horrible acne and stuff. But yeah, like it went the other way around too, where like I was like complimented all the time when I was really young. So I definitely get like the whole understanding of like the black pill and how it's like it's legit for sure, but like people in the middle don't really like understand it to the full extent. Yeah, okay, let's like dig deep, right? This isn't gonna be like my mindset. So his video basically said like, hey, like when life sucks and you're like a 5'2" guy, and like you know you're not getting girls, and you're just like living life every single Friday night not going out, every single Saturday night not going out, and your life is pretty much shit, right? And you're like working like a shitty job, and you can't climb out of it because you think your looks can't get you into like a better position, or you don't have like the IQ, genetic predeterminism, all of this. Then here are the best coping mechanisms. Number 1, like start going to the gym a lot. Number 2, start focusing on your diet and like make sure you eat healthy. Number 3, like, I don't know, he said like play video games. And number 4, just like start like go like NEAT. So what is that, like not in employment, or not engage in employment, and like kind of like off the grid kind of stuff. Number 6, like become gay so that you actually get like some kind of, you know, emotional connection, which is just, that's so funny. There are guys definitely doing that, which is crazy. Yeah, and there's all these like coping mechanisms, right? And my mindset for this is, I watch it because it's like kind of interesting to watch, but the thing is I would never accept defeat, right? And this is like where I very much differ from like these doomer kind of channels. I think a lot of their points are valid. I don't disagree with a lot of their points, and I understand the struggle. And I've said this previously on my channel, where the struggle that you're going through is probably very justified, and the system is unfair, and life right now is unfair, and the dating market is just completely cooked because of the amount of demand that men are giving to women. It's just completely off the freaking charts, where like below average women want like 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 guys, and they're actually achieving it because like guys just have obviously like a higher sex drive, but also like they want that true love unconsciously, and people don't realize this deep down, but they're doing everything for that true emotional connection. But the secret is that once you give that true emotional connection, give the woman true full love, the game is over, and she will subtly lose attraction to you. Now, of course, like love is good. That's not what I'm saying, but it's like you always need to be in control of it, and it does work. Unfortunately, a bit like relationships aren't just about love. There's also a lot of power dynamics and a lot of strategy that is involved, unfortunately. And you know, a lot of people will say that's not true. Love is unconditional, right? But it's unconditional once you have the stats that she requires you to have, and also it goes both ways. You obviously want you'll have unconditional love for the woman once she has the stats that you unconsciously want, right? So it's like, dude, it's complicated shit. Not complicated shit, but it's like everything's conditional, unfortunately. I guess what I'm saying is I understand that the game is rigged, and it's, to say like never give up is pretty biased and kind of a meme in this space, because like Jeremy Meeks says never give up, but like he's like a great looking guy, so obviously like it's gonna be the guy who's above average telling you to never give up. But he has that mindset. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, right. Like he has that mindset because he's already been given everything, and everything that he currently has is like a byproduct of luck and predeterminism. However, I still think that statement is true, because there are a bunch of wild examples, and these examples are outliers. So for example, a perfect example is Andrew Tate. Now he's so interesting. The reason why he is so popular is because he gives those men hope, because he's not really facially that, attractive of a guy. He's tall, right? But like if you saw him at a younger age, he didn't look like he would be anything, but he made himself something from the ground up. And he gives us as inspiration to men who probably relate to him very strongly. And he says, like, you just need to believe. Basically, I have a very similar mindset to Tate, to be completely honest, in a lot of regards. It's like he agrees that he also agrees that the system is rigged. He talks a lot about like masculinity and all this shit, right? But like he agrees the system is rigged. I agree the system is rigged. I agree like it's fucked now in 2026. Very similar mindset as well to like clavicular, like I have, like it's just all like destroyed right now. But does that mean that you should just accept defeat? Even if you are like even if you're below average in like every metric, are you still gonna just like accept defeat? Like there's got to be something that you have, man. There's got to be something that you got. And I'm not telling you to just become like a joke, like an absolute jester, but don't just like go crazy and like start thinking like, oh, I can't achieve this because my looks are the problem. Because you're gonna actually find out that there's a bunch of outliers within like television, or with like just like actors, or just like in real life, where they slip through the cracks and they actually like do find like they land in a proper relationship, and they end up becoming very successful and living happy lives. And a lot of it is because they didn't let that mindset of like their looks controlling everything destroy them. You can get into a very vicious cycle where you become so deep into it to the point where you're like, oh, my looks are everything. If I'm not like if I am below average, it's like completely over. And that's just couldn't be further from the truth. And these people are destroying you now. It's going to be much harder for you, and you're going to deal with these like problems. You're going to see like these current events and how it's a struggle, but there's always a way out. And I've said this so many times. There's always a way out, always. And this is what Tate preaches, and what I completely agree with. You got to find a way out. Like, you gotta compensate in some way. Don't just give up and start playing freaking video games and give up and completely destroy the future and your legacy, and have everybody accept that you were a failure and you couldn't escape that competitive market. You were put onto this planet. Your ancestors went through much more than you. They went through war, they went through famine, they went through struggle. They pushed the needle so viciously. And you're complaining because of the competitive dating market, while you have a phone and you have a laptop that could literally give you any information that you possibly want, and you could understand anything. You could understand how to build a website within a week if you really locked in, or you could understand cryptocurrency if you really dialed in for like 4, 5, 6 months, because it has every single possible information that you could possibly look for and possibly desire, and you could read about it. But your monumental laziness doesn't get you there. and you're complaining about being a 5 out of 10 and how girls don't like you because the market is competitive. It's like the market has become exponentially more competitive because there have been now a window of opportunities where now people could go on the computer and make money without going to college and getting higher education, or they can improve their looks with knowledge, knowing about like peptides and all this stuff. Knowledge is power, and you can either sit there and accept defeat even when your stats are below average, and it might be justified. I'm not saying that it's going to be hard, right? Or you can still try to improve anyway. And at the end of the day, you're going to make this decision inside. You're going to make this decision, and it's all predetermined. Whatever will be, will be. But I'm not the kind of guy to quit ever in any metric. I want true love. I'll do anything for this unconditional love where it's almost, it's just completely real. And I know how hard this can be. But it's what I want. I want my legacy to be strong. I want my last name, Paris, to be very strong. I want my kids to be strong. I want my family to, I want to move to a great geography. I want my kids to go to private schools. I want my kids to have great friends. I want to preach the Bible. I want to be I just have a huge influence and really be able to give you this motivation inside and have this happen to a lot of people and really get my face out there. And I'm not going to be like, oh, my face isn't good enough, or like my speaking abilities aren't good enough, or like my haircut right now isn't good enough. Like, I'm not going to let anything like that limit me. Because once you put a limitation on yourself, that limitation manifests into reality, then you won't be able to do it because unconsciously people will see that you put a limitation onto yourself. Does that make sense? Your insecurity shines through, but only when you are truly confident and do not care is when people look past it. It's like a small example, but there's this guy, Christopher Moltisanti from Sopranos, and like on a facial like perspective, like facially, he's really like not good looking at all. Actually, like his face, like people probably think he's about average, but like his whole like jaw is like completely like cooked and like pretty recessed, and his nose is like really big, and like everything about him, like if you had to look at it from a craniofacial standpoint, this guy doesn't have any really positive metrics except maybe like he has decent hair and he looks young, but you know, like the amount of guys, if he wasn't an actor, the amount, like if he would post like his face, the amount of guys in this space would be like, oh, it's over. Like every single feature of his is poor if they didn't know him. But the second he became like an actor and didn't like overthink this shit, people will probably say he looks fine, or it looks good, or there's a lot of women who are attracted to him. And then everybody will say like, oh, it's because of the status which blinds you. Well, yeah, someone's calling me. Yeah, but that's like the whole point. You know what I mean? Be right back, 1 sec. Who's calling me? Santino? No, I'll answer you in a second. Okay. Yeah, like, dude, like, yeah, it's like, oh, the statuses will blind them, and that's why women like him. It's like, well, yeah, that's the point. That goes back to what I just said earlier. It's like you need to find a way out. Find a way out through status. Find a way out through focusing fully on like one of your skills. Don't just like, and then he like, there's another in Rehab Room's example, he said like learn a skill that's not related to like work. So just like get good at like guitar or some shit. That's like, I guess, interesting, but like you want this skill that you develop to be able to earn you a salary, and you want to focus all of your energy into the things that will have the highest ROI in your sexual market value. You don't want to be wasting your time learning about some dumb shit, or like even like the videos that you post on YouTube. Like you could iterate on this as well. You could build some status by creating short form content on Instagram of you doing like pranks, and build some status in that way, but you're not really doing anything tangible. Nobody's going to really have any emotion when they see your face. They're just going to be like, oh, this is the guy who just makes prank videos and makes random vlogs, and there's nothing really I'm learning from him. He's just another face. That's not going to get you closer to love. You know what I mean? You want to make like what I'm doing, like long form content, something interesting, something where people remember your face, something where it's a bit unique, something different, right? This could be maybe your artwork. You want to showcase your artwork. You want to, I don't know, make a museum, you know, get donations from people, you know, network with people. Even if you're unattractive, then make unattractive friends, man. And I don't know, it's like stick with people who have the same mindset as you. Chase what you want. Never have any limitations on yourself, and make sure that the skills that you learn or the things that you do like have some kind of tangible return. Make sure that like you can monetize what you're learning about, because if you get really skilled in something stupid like a video game, that's not a good coping mechanism, because there's no return on your investment. Highly likely there's no return on your investment unless you're an absolute pro player, but you're probably not going to be. And you're just playing CSGO, or like you're playing like Call of Duty, you're making videos about that. There's nothing tangible, nothing. You want to have some kind of influence. You need to have some kind of power. You need to write a book. You need to do something, man. Like get huge in the gym, man. Like get huge. Like if you want to, like, I'm not telling you to blast steroids, but you be the biggest guy in your freaking gym if that's what it takes, man. And just like stand out in that way, or just do something. Do something, man. You got to find a way out. You got to find a way out. I can't tell you that exact way to find a way out, but really look inside of yourself and look at the skills that you really have. Look what people complimented you on. Look what people consistently do say that you do have. Think of the things that you have succeeded in. Think of those memories that you have in your life where it's like, hey, I actually objectively did pretty well in that certain metric or that certain day, in that certain experience. And really hone in on that and be like, okay, I'm actually above average in this skill. And just go all in on it. All in on it. And obviously, like, improve your looks, right? Like, there's always, like, room for improvement. Yeah, like, don't just never, ever, like, give up. Like, ever. That's, like, that's in my bio. That's just, like, something you need to completely wipe out, right? Like, giving up is just, like, not in my vocabulary, and it shouldn't be in your vocabulary either. There's always a way out. There's no excuses. There's guys who are worse than you doing better than you. And this goes for women as well. Don't see women as, like, these impossible, like, creatures that you can't, like, attract. I guarantee if you really knew, you'd be surprised at the women who were probably attracted to you over the years and just didn't tell you, or you didn't show it, right? There's always a way out. Find a way out. Find your angle. Peace.